between the Fighting Falcons of Cal Miramar University and your West Coast Baptist Eagles. We'd like to welcome the officials for tonight's game, Mr. Anthony Carter, Mr. Ralston Charles, and Mr. DeMaji Netherly. Now fans, we ask that you would please rise. And gentlemen, kindly remove your hats as we open tonight's game with a word of prayer. And as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Opening tonight's game with word of prayer, Director of Online Studies at West Coast Baptist College, Mr. Nick Pierdicente.
Lord, thank you so much for the opportunity for us to host Cal Miramar tonight. Thank you so much for the guys that you brought to this court. Lord, we love you so much. Thank you so much for sending your son, Jesus Christ, who died for us, Lord. Thank you for the grace that you so freely give to us. Lord, I ask that you give these guys a great night of basketball tonight. Keep them safe on the court. Lord, let us glorify you in all that we say and do. We ready to pray. Amen.
Now fans, please welcome West Coast Baptist College student Emma Benefield as she performs tonight's Star Spangled Banner. Ladies and gentlemen, Emma Benefield. And now it's time for the starting lineup.
We'll come in on the other side of all of this. I'll be more play-by-play, and I'll just come in with color a little bit. Yeah. There'll be sometimes I'll kind of specifically toss it to you. Certainly feel free to come in. Obviously, we don't want to be talking over each other, but if you've got something that you want to point out or bring out, I don't want to monologue to the extent that you can't ever get in. So if you've got something, feel free to go for it. And I mentioned a little bit about their lineup and some of that. I've got the stats from the first game.
Eagle fans, it's time to get on your feet. Time to meet the starting lineup for your West Coast
They had
Baptist Eagles.
5 in double digits.
From Bridgeport, Michigan.
I already mentioned some of these on it. So we don't have to full recap it. Alright, big starting.
Starting guard, freshman from Fort Morgan, Colorado. Number 12, Wesley Cobb.
The only one who's starting again tonight. And 2 of them
From Raleigh, North Carolina.
And we're back on the other side of our pregame announcements, and I'm excited to be joined for tonight's game with Nick Paravicenti, that teaches here at the college, serves in our online department, and I am excited to have him on the call here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time watching some basketball, and look forward to a great game.
Now, on the way over, it's our first home game of 2024. Kind of thinking through the game, thinking through some things to mention. And one of the New Year's resolutions I was going to say is that we need someone that's kind of been in our front court rotation to step up. But with some players unavailable for tonight's game, Coach Sisson has gone the other way, and he's starting Lance Fig, I believe the first home game he started at.
Right.
Kind of going all small, or at least smaller, on the Eagles side of things. It'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. Now, Julian Alvarez opening the scoring with that three. He put 25 on the Eagles in their earlier season matchup. Leading the scoring. Opens it here tonight. Goe up and can't get it.
It's a bit too easy there. Probably need to strengthen up on defense. If they're going to play small, they got to play faster.
And good awareness by Fig, gets it into Bosher. Now working on the baseline. Carnes to Delaney. And Bosher working up top. Good movement around the perimeter, but let's see if the shot will come.
And yeah, you can accept shots like that. You feel like that was good movement. The ball moved around well. And now just got to play solid defense to get that ball back.
The Eagles are going to have to make sure that they aren't content with just swinging the ball for its own sake. It can be easy to say, hey, we passed the ball 8 times that possession. Look at us moving it. When really it's just moving around the perimeter. But stretching the defense horizontally, big part of being able to open up opportunities. 7-0 here about 2 minutes in. Goe working from the right, now to Carnes. And Carnes
with a great shot.
Gets that to go. You can tell in watching Wesley that he's a good shooter. But if you just look at the percentages from some of the games this season, he hasn't quite found that stroke. It feels like there's a bigger game coming than what we've seen so far from him.
Just finding the rhythm.
Yeah.
Finding that rhythm in the shot. Yep, absolutely.
And it's tough for any freshman to come in and make an immediate impact. He's certainly done that. But now we're going to see that season-long progression, really that multi-year progression, hopefully, from him and continuing to grow in his game. Good start here tonight. Let's see how he goes from there. A good assist as Lance Fig finishes amidst the heavy defensive pressure. A big response from the Eagles after the Falcons hit from 3. Lance with a chance.
That was a great transition, making sure that you make up for that basket, getting back, and great pass to great bucket.
And we've talked about Wesley as a freshman on this team. Lance, a freshman as well, and he's kind of taking this step here after a little bit of a Christmas break, almost as it were, coming back into the spring semester in the starting lineup. We'll see where we go from here.
Yeah, one of the dangers that you'll find playing a little bit smaller and your lineup is you're going to have a danger of the rebounding, of course. We saw that in the last possession, but hey, that's a great bucket, great look, great ball movement, and man, as long as they can keep tabs on offense, I think this will be a good move by Coach Sisson.
Alex Herndon, an impact player for the Fighting Falcons, but it looked like he just misread that possession on defense. Jumped to the passing lane, but didn't look like he got all that close. Great heads-up play by Lance to look inside to push the ball. Great heads-up play by Ethan, almost kind of 2 steps away from where he was, to then start cutting for that. Alvarez for 3. That's going to be off the front of the rim.
Good
Ethan
rebound.
comes down with it.
Yep, good rebound there.
Delaney with a bit of a soft reset, now working with it. Down 12-8. Over to Goe. And
The West Coast got a little bit of a benefit there. Bad pass.
possession was getting a
Yeah.
little bit helter-skelter on the Eagles' side,
Agreed. Yep.
but enough tenacity to go
Hey,
get the ball.
Calls go both ways in the game.
Braxton coming
Great
around
play. Yeah,
and
great
lays
play.
that one up and in, saving his dunk quota for tonight. We'll see one later, hopefully. Alvarez to Herndon, and that pass is going to slide out.
The Eagles have a chance to tie the game here.
And after a 7-0 start by the Fighting Falcons of Cal Miramar, there's 16-12 here left in the first half. And the Eagles with a chance to tie or even take the lead this possession. Goe. And
The Eagles have done fairly well with that trap, and now are in a good offensive rotation, except for that walk there.
And Wesley getting a little hop and a skip into his drive there, according to the refs. Cal Miramar and the Eagles combined for 217 points in the first meeting, one of the highest scoring games of the season, if not the highest scoring. Both sides starting off
Oh, that was a great defensive play.
plenty of offense
Right.
here so far tonight, but it doesn't
Yep.
feel like either team has been giving up on the defensive end. It's not an all-star game kind of feel,
Correct.
but both teams finding a way to get things done. Abraham Jim George getting it done there with that cut. Carnes inside, now gets the one-on-one against Alvarez.
I will say the ball movement has looked better tonight by the Eagles.
And it looked like Lance was just collecting that. The ref was closer. He
Correct. Yeah.
probably
yep,
getting
yep.
a better view of that there, but was, if nothing else, maybe half a shuffle away from a really
Sure.
nice sidestep there.
Yep. Yep.
Alvarez now trying to take it all the way down. Kind of pushes that one right into the bottom of the rim. Delaney to Bosher.
Almost.
Almost.
A good take. It was a good, solid take.
And this game is accelerating in both directions. Finished off by Alex Herndon. Bosher. And is able to draw the foul there. Good heads-up play to push it down the court.
Yeah, and it looks like the defender really just kind of put his hand on Braxton there as Braxton was going up. It was close, though. Definitely close to a block there. But Braxton with a strong take. Always appreciate those strong takes.
With just a hair over 5 minutes down, the score is 16-10. Make that 16-11. And Braxton going to go to the line for a chance to make it a 4-point game here. And gets it to go. David Adlet into the game for the first time tonight. Go away with the nice knockaway. Coming in for Wesley Carnes. And so going to be seeing some kind of joint ball handling here. Certainly Braxton and Ethan plenty capable of that. Lance probably the closest to a point guard type build. Good contests there at the rim, but the Falcons are going to get that one.
That was a good offense by Braxton. Just a little bit better. Good defense there. Just a little bit better offense.
18-12 here. Braxton calling a timeout on the inbounds play. 14:27 left here in the first half. Nick, is there something, if you are Coach Sisson, that you're trying to change in the game plan at this juncture? Or are you more just focused on, hey, we know what we're doing, let's just execute a little bit better?
Yeah, I think actually the team has looked good tonight. I think there's been small mistakes. You think about the travel there. You think about a little bit of a walk on another possession. You get those 2 possessions back, you're right in the game here. The only thing that I would say is maybe he's articulating the need to box out on defense to make sure if they're going to play small, they still have to have a big mentality. They've got to be able to box out. They've got to be able to get rebounds. And right now, that's what's killing them on defense is the rebounds.
Absolutely. Height, certainly not a one-to-one measure of if you're going to rebound or not.
Right.
But it sure doesn't hurt. So like you said, if you're going some more guards, some more wings, then those guys have to commit to get up there on the glass. Good pass to Ethan. Keeps it away from the defender and now resets a little here. Working against Alvarez. He gets it up and
that's a good take.
Good defense by Alvarez. He
Yeah,
stayed pretty
correct.
connected all the way through, but Ethan just finishing strongly. 18-14.
Oh.
And Abraham Jim George getting rung up for the travel as well. These are refs just staying a little more on top of that than maybe some crews might, but
yeah.
Hey, as long as it's even both ways, then the guys can adjust and understand what they're dealing with.
Correct. Yeah, and it's been pretty good both ways too.
Not too much in the way of fouls here. 4 fouls here in the first 6 minutes.
Refs doing a good job communicating there, and it was definitely out on the Eagles, giving it back over to the Falcons.
Falcons working in Herndon, who has not been maybe the primarily ball handler so far tonight. And some
Good
active
defense.
hands.
Yes. Yep.
I'd let hitting the floor, but getting back up, working his way back into the play. The help defense getting in there to give themselves another opportunity to defend.
That's another good play on defense.
And a good block. There's a couple of Eagles there. It looked like it was Goe. The stats might differ. Carnes back in, pulls up from 3, just a little deep.
We're hoping to see that rhythm start to build with him, though. It's there. Oh.
And Ethan thought he'd gotten the block. And they're going to ring him up for the foul.
Yeah, it looked like he definitely got a piece of him, so maybe not the cleanest block, but it was close, and ref made a good call.
Alvarez really been at the heart of the Falcons' offensive attack, and now both games, you can tell that he's someone that Coach Chris Shade for Cal Miramar really trusts at the hub of his team.
Right, yeah.
Austin Pace checking in for the first time tonight.
Yeah, 25 points in the previous meeting that we've had with them. I'd say it was a good outing for him last time.
And Alvarez going to the line for the second is going to get that. It's 20-14 here, about 6.5 minutes into the game. Wesley bringing it across half court. Looking one-on-one for the moment. Now working around a little semi-pick there from Adlet. It didn't look like he was coming all the way up to set it, but the motion and him kind of crossing in the path created some confusion on the defensive end. Gave Wesley a bit of space to work.
Yeah, I'll definitely say the offense has looked good tonight. Not just in ball movement, but off ball movement as well.
And rims out, Herndon in now. Shorts that one with the left. And the Davids in the backcourt bringing it up.
Oh.
And Abraham Jim George getting rung up there. It felt like he probably thought there was a fast break opportunity coming for him, but
yeah.
Just got to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Leaning on the sideline, having a word with the ref, just getting some clarity maybe on something from earlier. Carnes now bringing it up in the center. And
That's a good shot.
And Led rims it out, but then it gets the soft roll off the backboard and comes right back down. It's back to a one-possession game.
And it felt like he created his shot there. He got himself in a good place and got a fast release.
Alvarez to Herndon. Herndon from the baseline. It is hard to hit those baseline fadeaways. The guys like Kobe, like Dirk, who made a skill of it, you know who they are because that's a tough shot. Good defense by the Eagles.
Ethan's done a good job of slashing through the lane today. It looked like he tried to look for someone there and just quick hands on defense by the Falcons and got that ball away, but Eagles get the ball right back.
Coach Sisson been willing to mix and match so far. We've got really, for most parts of this game after the first couple of minutes, we've had at least one or two guys from the starting lineup in, but also one or two guys from the bench unit in as well. We've got 3 starters, 2 reserves on the court right now.
Yep.
And Carnes, he was there.
Yeah.
He was close.
Yeah.
Just
that could have gone either way, I think. Yep, absolutely.
Got to be precise if you're going to try to reach around and knock it away. Refs with a tight whistle there.
Right.
But only 3 fouls on the Eagles in the first 8 minutes, so no one in foul trouble. Just something you got to make sure you're careful of as the game goes on, as Coach Sisson relies on some of those starters to play a lot of minutes. And the block by Ethan.
Great block.
Left no question about it earlier. He thought he had gotten one that had gotten rung up. No possibility of that one.
Great find to a good shooter, just a little bit off that time.
And he pulled that one real fast. The defense was closing in on him. And it's
another block.
Come away with Ethan here working up some soft pressure. And Goe with the drive.
That was a good take. That was a strong take, too.
And Goe showed us in the last home game here that when he heats up from outside, he can really do some damage. But he's not someone you see on offense as much driving it in. But good awareness. Good hustle there and a good play. Pace defending. Ethan coming over with the help. And that one is going to be an Eagles ball after this timeout.
Yeah, I think David is easily one of the top 2 defenders on the Eagles, maybe even the top defender. Typically, you won't see that kind of offensive productivity from him as much, but that was an excellent drive through the hole there.
And speaking of defense, good defense really by the team as a whole. In the last timeout, we could hear one of the Falcons players telling their coach, hey, this team plays really good help defense, kind of as they were talking through some of the game plan.
Right.
We saw it there on the last possession. Austin staying attached down low. And when the player makes that final offensive move, Ethan then timing up, coming in as well. Good tag team defense there. Good work by the Eagles to bring it within 1. It's 2019 with 11-12 left here in the first half. So we're about a quarter of the way through. Right now we're a little bit under that triple digits for both teams pace, but not by too much. Yeah. And just like last time, it's looking like, hopefully, this is going to shape up to be a nice, close back-and-forth battle. We certainly wouldn't mind seeing an Eagles blowout, but hey, a good close game. Eagles coming out on top when it's all said and done. We'll take that as well.
Yeah, and they're playing good on both sides of the floor. Like I said, I think some of even those rebounding issues that they had in the first 4 minutes or so seem to have been resolved, and they're really playing good, solid defense. They're blocking shots. They're going after it. And then on offense, it feels like they've got this confidence tonight, not just taking shots, but every single player really kind of going to the basket, taking to the basket, and scoring some points. So should be a good game on both sides of the ball tonight.
And we've got the Eagles bringing it in. Bosher facing a bit of a double. Now Carnes bringing it up, finding the space, getting across the half court with it, looking for Braxton. Able to get it to him there. But Bosher facing some further out defense by Mekhi Jackson. Braxton able to bank that one in. And that, I believe, is the Eagles' first lead of the night.
Yes,
21-20.
Yep.
And that's going to be just a bit short.
And there's that rebounding I was talking about. Get the rebound, get on transition, and get to the basket now.
Braxton looking off it a little bit and led off the front. And that one's going to be knocked away. Great hustle play by Dejon Daniels, but it turned out that it went off his hands to keep it down here for the Eagles, looking to even make this a multi-possession game. And somebody called sub, but maybe one of the Falcons hearing something off the bench. Eagles kept the same lineup, and so now we are ready to go. Bosher up top. Let's see if Ethan looks up or out to the corner here. Just a bit short.
Great following your own shot. You don't see that a lot, and he did a great job. It even felt like there, David, that it didn't come off his hand right, and he knew it right away and just followed after a shot, was able to get in there and cause a foul.
It's a tough place to go get a rebound from the corner, from 3. You're not going to see a whole lot of offensive rebounds by players in that position. David working his way out. And Carnes coming up to give him some passing options. Now to Goe outside. Pulls it up, and that one is not going to get up in time. And good pressure by the Falcons as well. We've talked about the Eagles' defense. Certainly, as West Coast fans, as guys who work at West Coast, this is our team. This is who we're watching. But it's been a good game on both sides so far.
Yeah, correct.
And a lot of good effort from both sides.
Great rotation on defense. I think that should be a charge. Oh, okay.
And
that
Ethan hustling all over. Really was going to mention him closing out on Waylon Anderson as he was setting up kind of to the front right for a 3. Got out there to contest a 3, keep the ball moving, got down into the lane to make sure that there was contact. He probably thought that that was a charge, but after a pretty demonstrative response after his first foul call, taking this one
probably
more quietly.
Probably realized maybe his feet were a little off-centered, off-place there.
And just kind of finding that mindset. He's going to have to play a lot of minutes tonight, most likely. And you want to make sure that he's playing as clean as possible. I think both teams are playing a pretty clean game. No one's been head hunting or anything like that.
Correct, yeah. Yep.
But just making sure that those 50-50 calls, you can stay on the right side of them. And KJ Perry going to tie that one up. 21 apiece, just over 10 minutes into this game. And Fig in the double team, just able to work through enough to pick up the foul call. But that was a tight play there. And Falcons been bringing some pressure tonight. And so the Eagles have to find the right response here. Just a full court pickup, but just one man in the backcourt. Little deep
Another
there.
time following his shot. He's been doing that all night. And
Barnes to Fig.
Oh, yep.
And
with the walk. I appreciate in this past possession the Falcons coach sharing a bit of wisdom that you're not going to overturn the call. I thought that was fun. There's a little bit of wisdom there.
Daniels bringing it up. And the Falcons kind of crossing players to try to find a bit of space. Daniels now following and is going to pick up the foul call.
Yeah.
It's going against 21 Adlet. We started to see the whistle pick up just a little bit here.
Yeah.
6 fouls on the Falcons, 5 on the Eagles. So we're probably going to start seeing some more free throws in 9-10 left in this first half. 21-21 apiece.
I feel like David Idolet has played more aggressive tonight. I don't mind that foul by David. Come behind, trying to get the block, playing aggressive defense, and frankly, I don't mind that one bit.
He's been pretty quick on the trigger from the 3. He's hit it. You know he can. It'll be interesting to see if he keeps having that green light to keep shooting or if he is going to use more the threat of his shot to facilitate, pass, kind of run the offense elsewhere. Fig coming around, a bit of a pick. Up and not able to get that one in through the contact, but it'll go to the line for a chance to earn some.
Yeah. Fairly hard foul, but I appreciate him taking it strong to the basket like that. Yep.
21 apiece. Chance to go up 2 if he can convert both. Straight, but a little bit deep, and Alvarez coming in for Taylor Howard. Lyndon Paul also checking into the game. And splashes that one to give the Eagles the 1-point lead. Daniels pushing it up pretty quickly. And now resetting, working one-on-one against Adlet. Now to Alvarez. And Goe coming across. Number 13, KJ Perry, did a pretty good job sort of setting him up to get Goe on his back.
Yeah. David's got to find a way to stay on the inside of that instead of kind of being pulled back on the outside. If he stays on the inside, I think we avoid that.
Great effort, great jump to get up to contest it, but it's just tricky if you're behind the play. You can get the clean block, but the refs are going to be in position to see any little bit of contact that they might find a call for. Falcons missed the first. I think that's their last 3 that have all rimmed out on the previous trip down the floor, and now this one, but splashes it to end that streak.
Yeah, both the Falcons and the Eagles in their last matchup had a similar percentage in free throws, and it wasn't great from the line, and we'll see tonight if that's the story. That seemed to be the story of the last game.
Carnes, Bosher into the lane, and he was looking for the hammer there, but a good contest by KJ Perry.
Absolutely.
Got rung up for the foul, but hey, basketball is a contact sport. You got to get up there and make it hard on the man driving. It's 22-22.
Correct.
And this one has certainly gotten more physical. I think it's about as clean as it's been, but it's certainly more physical over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, more shots from the inside, less from the outside in the past couple of minutes. It's going to generate some physical basketball.
Number 33, Darion Campbell, checking in for the first time tonight. Bosher put us up 1 with the first free throw. Chance to double that here. And that's going to just slide out. Campbell checks in and immediately picks up the board from that free throw. Carnes on the defense. And that play, you could tell, was one that they wanted to get it to Waylon Anderson. The coach all the way over here on this side of the court
they
saw it.
They were screaming for him. They wanted him. He was open, and they just missed just by a little bit.
By the time the ball got to him later in the possession, the defense had gotten the chance to set up there.
That's good.
Alvarez
steal.
now in the open court. Goe gets that, blocks that, and that's going to be a media timeout. It looks like they're going to keep it down there for Falcons basketball.
Right, yeah.
But after David has been pretty aggressive in looking at blocking shots tonight, he's done a good job with it, but he's certainly been hunting those.
Yeah, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, but, man, it feels like he's got at least 3 blocks already that were clean. Of course, he's got a couple that the refs decided they were going to call foul. Maybe they contacted some of the body, but I feel like David's been just in general pretty good on defense.
And we've got to have guys at least getting up there for it. Sometimes,
yeah, correct.
You know what? You get up, sometimes you're going to get rung up for it. But you got to keep contesting, and that's been good to see here so far in this game. It is currently 23-22. The Eagles ahead in the Battle of the Birds. 7:52 left in this first half. And so we are right about 30% through this game. Give it a couple of minutes and some, it'll be about a third. And so the scoring pace dropped off maybe a little bit since the last time out. We kind of mentioned some of it here. Really both sides with the chance to add from the free throw line, but some misses costing both teams here.
Yeah, I believe we're 4 for 6 from the free throws, which is not bad. The last game we were 26 for 39, and so you're looking at somewhere in the 70% range there, 60-70% range there. I can't do math, David.
And anytime you get those chances at the line, hey, you know you're probably not going to go 100%, but it's a free opportunity. That's why they call it a free throw. And you know that you've got to hit those as you get the chance. Out to Daniels. Daniels is going to bury that. I think that is the first Falcons three-pointer since quite a bit earlier in the game. Maybe the first shot was a three. I don't know that we've seen one from them since then. Great back cut by Braxton. Great reverse finish by Braxton. And that's going to tie it up at 25. Alvarez is going to get that one.
Got a jump ball for the Eagles.
And David getting up to force that jump ball. That'll stay with.
Thought it was.
Braxton setting up on the baseline.
Yeah, it's white.
All right, and now Wesley is going to be there on the baseline. We've seen some pressure for sure from the Falcons so far tonight, but I don't think we've seen 4 involved in that press yet. And so seeing them kind of rush up, a little bit of confusion as to whose ball it was. And tipped away by Daniels. I don't know that Braxton was 100% anticipating that pass. And stays with the Eagles here.
Oh, man.
And a couple of Eagles diving kind of ends up bouncing between them. Alvarez puts the Falcons up 2. Fig gets it inbounds immediately to Carnes, able to work up into the front court without having to worry about the press. Bosher working against the smaller Daniels. Let's see if he goes inside with this. And not quite able to get that one to fall. Good aggressiveness when you find that kind of matchup.
The ball movement has kind of slipped away for the Eagles, so we're hoping to see that come back.
Alvarez misses it under pressure from Fig. Carnes gets the floater, and not a miss, rather a turnover. Fig immediately gets it up to Bosher. Eagles get it in for 2, 27 apiece. About 6 minutes left in this half.
Yeah, Lance has done a good job tonight filling in. It feels like he is, that's close there. But it feels like he is just playing so well, and it's interesting we haven't seen him even more.
And Anderson with the fadeaway. We talked about this just a second ago. David's done such a good job tonight in getting up to contest. That's probably the first one I felt like, man, maybe you didn't have to quite be that aggressive with it. Costs him a little bit there. But Ethan checking in. David with 3 fouls. Eagles as a team only with 7, not doing too bad there. But David is going to potentially be a little bit more in and out in terms of his court time.
Yeah.
Certainly down the stretch here.
I think coach is probably looking for some scoring here and maybe putting in a few more offensive players.
And we're seeing a travel call there. Anderson now looking around, but ends up sending it back to Daniels. And ball bounces out to Carnes. Good defense by Fig. And Coach Sisson looking for some clarity on that one.
Coach saying that he didn't have a chance to land there, so It shouldn't have been a charge, but a block.
Anderson kind of steps over into the 3. And now Darian Campbell getting really, I think, the 6th or 7th travel call between both teams tonight.
Yeah.
28-27 with 5.5 here.
Yeah.
Falcons with the narrowest of leads. Fig working against Alvarez up top. Now to Bosher. And he's going to pull up for the 2, not quite get it. Alvarez comes down with the board, and away we go. Daniels, and this is going to bounce all over the place. And after quite the game of hot potato, the Falcons get it through the hoop. 3-point lead with 5 to go. Delaney now working against Campbell. Gets the nice lefty finish. Carnes almost jumped that. And Lyndon Paul is going to hit from outside. Fig, Delaney bringing it up the court together. And
I was just about to say we haven't had too much trouble with the press tonight. I think that was a self-inflicted error there, just losing track.
And that's something that the press can do even if you're not actually jumping that passing lane and intercepting the ball. Just giving the defense a little something extra to, or giving the offense rather, a little something extra to think about. Alvarez now here, takes it down baseline. Gets to the finish with his left hand. And Coach Sisson not liking what he's seeing there. It's been a pretty back and forth game. Falcons opening it up to 6. Certainly still striking range, but a little bit of that complete blow for blow.
Yeah, you feel like
slipping away.
I think in that last play, you watch Ethan, and it looked like he had the ability to cut off the baseline, and it seems like he took the opposite approach, and the offense just ran right through that baseline area, was able to get the easy bucket. So Coach a little bit upset, I think, about that. Ethan will probably have to change that in the last 4 or so minutes left in this half.
Pace came to the scorer's table during the timeout. We'll see if Austin coming in for Ethan 1-for-1 or if there's going to be some shuffling with it. And he is going to be coming in for Ethan. And that's the tricky part, too. We've talked about foul calls earlier and some of that. And to some extent, that can be overdone. It can feel like we're harping on whistles and contests and things like that. But things like that can play into the game if at that point you're not able to be as physical, as handsy maybe as you would otherwise. It's all part of the game.
Yeah, correct.
But with 4:23 left here in the first, 35-29, Falcons up 6. So it's going to be a couple of shots. The Eagles are going to need to find their way back into this one here in the last 4.5. But certainly not out of hand in it by any stretch. And the Eagles going to want to catch their breaths, keep their cool, find a way to get that ball through the hoop.
Yeah.
And make things happen here down the stretch of the first half.
And again, just stick to what was bringing them back into the game, rebounding defense, quick hands, and just activity and rotation, being able to rotate. I think that'll be helpful.
And we've got 3-on-3 in the backcourt, and yet the Eagles able to find space without too much of an issue. But now Lyndon Paul bringing some pressure. Fig keeps the dribble, keeps the composure, gets the bucket.
Looked like there was just a defensive mental error there. Oh.
And Pace climbed the ladder to contest that. Got his hand on the ball. You could pretty clearly see that from this angle, but I might have seen a hand in the back from their angle or something like that as well.
Right.
Anderson going to the line, chance to add to this margin. 4 points with 4 minutes to go in the half. I'm not a math professor, but easy enough to figure out what the Eagles need here in the last couple of minutes.
You know, they've really stayed with them in this half, and they've played really good offense. It's just a matter of making sure that they are a little bit more active on defense and being able to get in transition.
Bosher clamps that rebound down. Working from up top. Now Wesley in the corner. Gets past Paul. Over to Fig. And that one's going to be just a bit short there. Good drive by Wesley to set that up. He's gotten whistled for traveling a couple of times tonight, but able to stay clean there. Good gang rebound by the Eagles, and away we go. Braxton against Alvarez. The really probably offensive hubs for both teams. Carnes a little deep on that three. Daniels bringing it up. Semi-transition. And Alvarez is going to get the finish.
That was a great pass. That was a great pass to the lane.
A tricky window to fit that one through.
Yeah.
7 points, 3 minutes left. Wesley to David. Works both directions. Now swinging it around the perimeter. Up to Braxton. Takes a second to survey. Tries to work that little left to right spin. Eagles retain possession. But that shot's going to have to get up soon. And Lance able to finish from kind of an awkward angle, kind of down there under the basket.
Might have gotten away with a little bit of an offensive foul there, but was able to get the basket.
He's just opening up space, Nick. Everyone's got to subscribe to the dark arts at one point or another. Did a good job getting that one up and in. And Campbell with a nice finish himself there. Keep that margin out at 7. Fig now back to Braxton to reset. David thinking about the three, going to pull up for it. Wesley
with a great
up for the offensive board. Puts the
excellent
shot up and able to finish that one nice and soft.
Yeah.
2 minutes left. No 2-minute warning in basketball, obviously, but you can feel the intensity even from the Eagles bench. The guys chanting defense. This is really the time to make something happen. Alvarez able to do that on offense for the Falcons. Braxton working against Daniels here. He hunted a bit of that size mismatch earlier. Let's see if he does it again. Pulls up from the free throw line. Splashes that one nicely.
You know, I'd like to see a little bit more of that Braxton. I feel like they give him that free throw length, and, man, I think he could be a high percentage range from there.
He has been pretty consistent in trying to take on Daniels when he sees that matchup specifically. Pace now running it up. Carnes in the corner. Oh, just in and out. And Campbell now working. And Fig went down looking for, trying to draw contact. He was down there as the rebound came in his direction. And we are going to see a technical free throw on Fig. Alvarez is going to splash that one there. And it is going to be Eagles ball after that rebound. They didn't announce what it was. I don't know if they maybe heard something while they were down there.
Yeah,
saw a leg sweep or something like that.
Yeah, he came over and he said faking the foul. And so that was a technical foul for that.
And Fig now trying to split the double team. And the intensity here taking a step up from both sides. And Fig going to the line for 2 shots.
It takes 2 of these and a stop.
6-point margin right now with 46.6 left in the game.
There you go.
Or in the first half. And we've got a 4-point game.
There you go.
We've got just enough time for Falcons to go 2 for 1. Eagles pulling up from 3.
And he hits
Lex
it.
Splashes that. And the Falcons are going to call the timeout here. Big play by David, getting up, just getting a hand on that.
Man.
Pulled it from the corner. Honestly, I thought, maybe a pass a little bit better option.
Yeah.
You're pulling that pretty fast to
felt-
go up with it right away.
He felt confident. He felt confident in the shot. Got that steal, was able to get to the corner. And, man, what a shot. What a transition play. We went down from 6 points.
Down 6 to making a 1-point game in what it was 43.2, something like that. So in about 5 seconds of game time to get that kind of turnaround, really significant. Eagles with the response instead of losing their heads here late in the first, coming back, able to draw this one closer.
Yep.
And, man, you would love to see them try to get into the half with the lead. But first of all, they're going to have to dig in and get a stop here.
Yeah.
If you're the Falcons, do you try to burn a pretty good amount of the shot clock? Or is that not something you're consciously looking for? If it happens, it happens.
I don't know. You might even think through. You got 8 seconds. If you can get down to court in 8 seconds, maybe take a shot, get a little.
It's possible you could
It's
get the
possible
2
2
for
for
1. It
1.
just kind of depends on if West Coast would then turn around and themselves try to really bleed it out.
Yeah.
But certainly the opportunity,
I feel like
if the Falcons find one right away.
They're coming off of a timeout, so you never know. But if you're the Eagles, just playing tight defense at this point.
Let Prowling in the backcourt after he picked up the steal the last time. Alvarez now accelerating, tries to get that one in. Just kind of tosses it up. Wesley gets it. We've got numbers. Wesley up and in the finish. Puts the Eagles up 1. And
another
Pace
steal.
with the interception.
Oh, bad pass.
And we've got chaos going both directions here. And that layup is going to be in. Eagles now trying to make this their chance to answer. 10 seconds left. It's going to be to Braxton. 7 left. He is looking for the last shot of the half here. And it's going to stay Eagles side with 2.1 left in the first half.
Falcons obviously not happy about that call, but I felt like I saw off defense as well.
There's enough arms there. It'd at least be hard to conclusively say it wasn't. No benefit of instant replay here. 2.1. And that is going to reset Eagles ball. 1.5. You got to get that shot up fast here. Braxton looks for the drive. I don't think that was up in time, but it rimmed out regardless. Eagles with the response, getting this to a 1-point margin here at the halftime break. It's 45-44. We'll be back in a couple minutes with some stats from the first half. Points to note for the second half. Here in the Walther Center, for Nick, I'm David. We'll be back with you soon.
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully you're grabbing a snack or something to drink over your halftime break. Certainly for our fans and supporters around the country, a little bit earlier, an hour earlier than some of our tip-off time, but we know that it is already, 10 o'clock on the East Coast, and so for those tuning in a little bit later than we have it here in California, we appreciate your support. Thankful that you're joining us for tonight's game. It's 45-44, Falcons 1 point ahead here at halftime. On Cal Miramar's side of the ledger, 14 points for Julian Alvarez leads the way. No other player over 6, although Herndon at 6, Howard at 5, McMichael at 5, all pretty balanced. And I think we've been announcing 0 as Lyndon Paul. That is Richard McMichael, and he's playing well here so far. On the Eagles side of things, Braxton Bosher leading the way with 11 points. Lance Figg coming in for the first start I've seen him with 10 points. Wesley Carnes with 9 leading the way. We've got 6 Eagles over 12 minutes on the floor. Only one other Eagle been on the court at all tonight so far. Austin Pace with a bit over 6 minutes of game time here. But Coach Sisson really leaning into that 6-man rotation for the most part so far. Eagles are shooting 3 of 14 from outside, shooting 14 of 18 from inside the arc. And that is some pretty hot shooting there. I don't think you're going to keep hitting 78% over the rest of the game.
Right.
And so if some threes can start falling here, we can get a little bit more there. But certainly good to see that when the Eagles are taking that initiative to go in and get it, that they've been able to convert so far. One cause for concern, Eagles with 3 assists to 12 turnovers in the first half. It hasn't felt like the press has really killed the Eagles. I don't know exactly how many of those 12 came in the backcourt or not, but that's a number that you really want to see that margin close up a little bit more if the Eagles are going to make a sustained second half run. Nick, is there anything, we've already mentioned some of the highlights, is there anything standing out either from the stats or maybe even just from the eye test, a player on the Eagles side or on the Falcons side that you want to highlight going into the second half?
Yeah, I think what you just talked about was the one thing I wanted to highlight. The turnovers are a little bit higher than you'd like to see, 12.5. You'd like to see those turnovers come down in the second half because you're not going to maintain, of course, the percentage of buckets within the arc, okay? You're not going to maintain that 78%. So if you can't maintain, then you also can't turn the ball over. You need to make the best of every single possession that you have. And right now, they're not doing that from beyond the arc. They're not getting a good percentage from 3. And so those have to fall. Those have to fall in the second half if we're going to walk away with a victory. Because we know we're playing a little bit of a larger team. We're a little bit smaller, faster. And so we need to play with the ball moving like they did in the first 10 minutes of the game. I felt like they moved away from that in the second part of the game, which could have caused a lot of the turnovers where they started to play more isolated basketball rather than working the ball. And so instead of working the ball around and finding those open shots, oftentimes you found that it was one pass and drive instead of multiple passes. So that's kind of what I noticed out of that half. I feel like turnovers have to come down and three-point shot percentage has to come up by finding good open players by working that ball around.
And one thing I'll mention as well, both sides with 17 made field goals in the first half. Cal Miramar, 10 assists on 17 makes. Eagles, 3 assists on 17 makes. Now, assists isn't a perfect measure of unselfishness or not. Maybe it's pushing it up to someone who's then able to dribble their way in and get that bucket. We recognize that sometimes that's just going to kind of play out a little bit differently. But the Eagles are going to have to make sure, like you said, that there is that commitment to passing. There is that commitment to ball movement. You don't want a low assist number to be indicative of a solo act of 5 guys all attacking alone, putting themselves on an island they don't need to be on. It hasn't felt like that's been what the Eagles have been doing, but you want to make sure it doesn't slide into that here in the second half. All right, Nick, it's time. You got to go out on a limb here. You got to put your name behind this here. What's your final prediction? Who wins? How much?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way that the Eagles were able to end that last minute or so, they go into the half with momentum. They played really good defense. They played good enough offense to take the lead. And so I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to find ourselves with an 85-81 win. 85-81 win.
Eagles by 4. He's calling this one here, the second half comeback. Feels a little self-congratulatory to call it a comeback when we're only down 1, but you know what? We will take a second half comeback here in the Walther Center.
Take anything we can get, brother.
If we can call this one. We're just speaking it into existence here. Looking forward to that. One thing to keep in mind, players who have gotten rung up for multiple fouls, Taylor Howard and Abraham Jim George for Cal Miramar, both with 2 fouls, both with under 8 minutes of game time. But the rest of the Falcons keeping themselves fairly clean. On the Eagles side, Ethan Delaney listed at 2 fouls, David Goe listed at 3. And so that's going to be tough because that's some kind of wing intermediate defense. If you had to think of players to try to throw at Julian Alvarez to try to slow down, he had 25 points last time. He's got 14 in the first half so far. Feels like Ethan and David are some of the best ones.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of pressure on them on the defensive end to be active, to be aggressive, and not to get rung up for it at the same time. That high wire act is hard, but we'll see how it goes. We've got a minute left until the second half starts off. We'll be back with you in just a second. And the Fighting Falcons of California Miramar University coming to town to take on your West Coast Baptist College Eagles, starting with the ball here in the second half, leading by 1, 45-44. Alvarez doing some high post work here.
Yeah.
Now getting reset by Abraham Jim George. And Stretches is able to get that one there. Kicks it. Alvarez over the top. Fig gets that and looks for Goe to help reset it. Eagles with a chance to take the lead on the first possession of the second half.
Coming out a little bit flat on offense right now.
Ethan with the lefty scoop, not able to get that one to go off the glass. And they're pushing it up. And that one's a little bit shorted. Herndon not able to get it there. Works back in, and
another block.
Good aggressiveness there, even with 3 fouls. Fig now working against Alvarez. Got tied up there a little bit. That's going to be a jump ball, but after Goe forced the first one that stayed with the Falcons, the Eagles will keep it here on this trip.
Yeah, that was a good call by the refs, making sure that they saw the ball there. I thought it was a great call.
Bosher on the baseline looking around and is going to get it to Goe at the stroke of 5 seconds. Carnes looking. Bosher going inside. Goe. Carnes, and it's been swinging around the perimeter here. Carnes able to get that one up. Eagles, 7 of 9 from the stripe in the first half.
And there's what we were talking about during halftime there. That ball movement there was fantastic, and you're able to drive in and get a foul on that. I thought the ball movement was great there.
Staying on one side of the court with the ball movement, but you don't have to do some fancy cross-court pass in order to try to move it. They just kept bouncing it around, finding the guy who had the opportunity, had the space. Ethan gets tied up there, and it's going to be coming back for the Falcons now, though. Falcons still up 45-44, no scoring yet in the first 90 seconds or so of the second half.
Oh, a foul on Fig there.
And Taylor Howard coming down with that. Fig just kind of trying to crowd the lane there, get hands up on defense, but ended up unintentionally getting underneath him there. Howard not able to come down, but gets right back to him and splashes it from outside. Cal Miramar, 4 of 10 from outside in the first half. Let's see what they're able to find here.
Good pass and
go
good take.
Go away with a good finish. And Braxton read that one. The nice hands there. Braxton gets that one up. Carnes waiting there for the offensive rebound, but the whistle half beat after the contact, but before the ball had even gotten all the way down. Braxton with a chance to tie it from the line. 3 of 4 from the line in the first half. Adds one here.
Yeah, the free throw has been a lot better in this game than it was previously. You like to see that sustained through the second half.
And anytime you can be as effective as possible from the line, it gives your guys more confidence to be able to play inside and out. If you're struggling from your free throws, now you're second-guessing your drives, looking at drawing contact. It just makes everything tougher. And Chandler Sanders with the shot there. He's been involved a lot on offense here for the Falcons in the early going. Wesley not quite able to get that one to fall. Up to Alvarez. And he is going to not quite be able to add to his game-leading scoring, but Herndon gets that one to go. Margin out at 2.
All right, let's see if the Eagles can work the ball around a little bit better than they did in the last couple possessions.
Go against Alvarez, now to Braxton. Finds his way down into the lane, sets up a bit of space, powers that one up.
And one.
And Braxton's had a couple of opportunities to go inside early on. His last drive, right, he jumped that pass. It's a fast break. You got to push that one down in. But committed to going down inside, trying to make something happen. Chance for the three-point play to put the Eagles in front. Splashes it, and away we go.
There we go.
And Waylon Anderson on the baseline. And Richard McMichael checking into the game for the Falcons. You mentioned this at the half. Might have said Lyndon Paul in the first half. He was wearing number 0 for the Falcons last trip. But it's McMichael who's Agent 0 tonight. We've gotten 5 whistles in the first 2 minutes, 58 seconds here of the second half. And Ethan, this is what we talked about at halftime. On that kind of high wire act between aggressive defense and staying clean enough to be able to soak up minutes in this game, gets in there, draws the charge. Good play there by Ethan. Now working against Herndon. Wesley able to just pull it down with Alvarez there. Braxton looking inside, going in the corner. Just shuffled open and rolls out right in front of the bench. The guy's loving that move to open himself up for the 3.
And again, that was a great offensive series. I love that shot. Love the move by David. Of course, you want to see it come down, but man, great series on offense.
And it's finding the right time to just hunt your shot fast. It's not that you have to swing the ball around and with 2 seconds left on the shot clock finally put something up, but not just chucking just for the sake of it.
Yeah,
you find
correct.
that moment, you take it, and sometimes the shot goes out. David's shot went out that instance, although that was about as close to going in as you could possibly get. But good process overall. Falcons rattle it home, tie it up at 51. Here, 16 and a half left in the second half. Tie game in the Walther Center. Braxton working against McMichael. Now over to Fig, pulls up from 3.
Oh, that was a good shot,
And
though.
that one's just going to be out. Good awareness by Wesley, gets that one in. Fig now coming back inside. Delaney. And some impressive ball movement there. Ethan with the heads-up play. And the midair interception.
What an
lefty
incredible
pass
defensive
off of
play.
Alvarez. And he knew it, too. It almost happened too fast to quite catch. But he knew what he did. He saw what he did. And he was telling the ref, you got to give me this one here. I know I got it. Big-time
That's
play
when you
there
get,
on
excited
defensive
about
end.
your own play there,
Wesley Lance now resetting. Lance has looked good tonight, looked very controlled for having the ball a lot. Sometimes maybe a player who doesn't start a lot, you can kind of try to just be a spot-up shooter or something like that. But he's been pretty involved with the play. Running back on defense there, but did not get up against Waylon Anderson. Anderson had 2 or 3 steps on any defender. You just let him have his points there and call it a possession. Bosher inside, lays it up. Eagles out by 3 again.
Oh, and a steal.
Barnes gets it, Eagles by 5. And the ability to put the pressure up. We saw it with David at the end of the first half. Herndon to Anderson. And we've got a hockey line change coming here for the Falcons. We've got 5 guys at the scorer's table. Coach Shade looking for complete revival among his lineup. Ethan gets the strong finish.
Yeah,
Eagles by 5.
Feels like the refs are letting him play a little bit, which is great. It's great to see.
Alvarez puts that one up, not able to get it.
Great strong take by both teams. Just doing a great job playing.
And Goe
Playing strong basketball.
with his 4th. I was just going to mention before some of the chaos of the last couple possessions, the Eagles have kept the same lineup for quite a bit here in the second half. Coach Sisson, someone who's willing to mix and match, do maybe a bit more lineup tinkering, kind of trying to find that right combination. He's let these guys stay in play. We'll see if we get a substitution here as Atlette heads over to the scorer's table. David might be getting a breather on 4 fouls. And Julian Alvarez at the line. The one Falcons player that someone like our professor here, Jamie Smithy, might be cheering for. Shares the name with the Manchester City player, his favorite team. So, Brother Smithy, if you're somewhere on winter tour watching this one, we're thinking of you, I guess. Congratulations.
Shout out, Brother Smithy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And Ethan going up with the left.
Yeah, I
That
feel
one
like
gets
that.
knocked away, but they saw some contact, setting up a whistle there.
Yeah, I feel like that was a call from even earlier in the drive. Kind of a little bit of a push on Ethan as he was going through.
Now
But
we're gonna
overall good take.
We're gonna see a real contrast here. The Falcons completely overhauling their lineup. The Eagles, with other than one substitution for David, playing their starters, playing that kind of A lineup well into the start of the second half here. Which one's going to win, the continuity or the fresher legs?
Yeah, can't miss those. Can't miss those.
Ethan for a chance to make it a 2-possession game. Rattles that one
There
down
you go.
and in.
There it is.
we've got the 4-point margin that Nick predicted for the end of the game. Ethan almost jumped that. And Howard loses that. Braxton gets it, and the Eagles are away. Spins, finishes, 6-point game, Eagles lead.
Great shot.
The largest lead of the game for the Eagles before this bit of a run here. 1 point for the Eagles was as far as they were up at any point in the first half. Up to 6 now, plenty of game left to go.
And they're playing a 3-2 zone, maybe trying to keep some of those.
And DeJon Daniels is going to hit from outside. That's the one thing that can break a zone pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We'll see if the Eagles stick with it or just kind of keep rotating their looks a little bit. Carnes now working against Campbell. Splashes it in response.
I think he might be finding a rhythm. That's the second one of the half.
And it's up, and Delaney keeps his hands down. Looked like the Falcons were expecting more contact, just mixing it up with him. Now David Braxton moving it around. Braxton with the one-on-one. Wesley, and just off the front of the rim. Good awareness, put that one up fast. Braxton saw that one coming. And Howard deep with it. And number 13, KJ Perry, gets the finish. Braxton on Daniels. He's really consciously taking it inside when he's seen this matchup before. Let's see if this happens again if it gets back to him. He's passing it a couple times here. Delaney against Campbell. And dances a bit with it. You almost thought, given some of those travel calls earlier in the game, that maybe he thought he saw a foot slide a little bit. But with what looks like a technical call, and Bosher going to the line, chance to push it out to 5, and he will. And 68-62. Bosher hits both, now on the baseline, inbounds to Carnes. Edlet. And following his shot again, but more pressuring Howard here. Howard got the inside position quickly enough.
He's done great with that tonight.
Alvarez back out to Howard, who hit a 3 earlier. Bosher almost jumped it.
Rotating well on defense.
And it's been a scramble at both ends. Daniels.
Good box out on all ends. Not just the front court, but the back court as well. Boxing out their guys.
Braxton to Delaney. Ethan likes working to his left, and you can see why with the finish like that. Out to an 8-point margin, largest of the night. 12 minutes, 11:58 now, and the Eagles have gone on a bit of a run here in the last couple of minutes.
The offense looks good. Defense, they're doing the fundamental things right. They're rotating well. They're boxing out on shots. Something that they struggle with at the beginning of the game that we mentioned, hey, if they can start boxing out, getting those rebounds so that the offense isn't putting up second chance shots, then they'll do well. And I think we're seeing the results of that now.
And David, boxing out on that last one, ended up hitting the deck with it, but was able to establish position, hit it back to Braxton, who could then go initiate the offense from there. You don't have to make every play. You just got to make your part of the play. And
Yeah,
David
I agree
did
with
that. At
that.
the start of that.
It's a smart basketball. If you can play fundamental, smart basketball, you'll start to see the results in the end.
And Coach,
I sound like such an old man saying, play fundamental, smart basketball.
Man, I remember watching a finals game with my dad, and they cut away to the timeout, and Phil Jackson, right, 11 rings, just an all-timer of a coach, was like, guys, you got to play better basketball. So sometimes that's all you need. He probably did other things as well to earn those 11 rings, but you know what? My lasting image of him is just him saying, you got to play better basketball. So sometimes it's the simple things.
When I was a JV coach, I don't think there was a phrase that I used more than box out.
Well, I'm sure Coach Sisson is instructing a little bit more than only
Probably,
boxing out.
yeah.
But you know what? Something he's going to have to keep reminding him here as the game winds on. We mentioned this at halftime. 6 Eagles players over 12 minutes in the first half. Only one other player, Austin Pace, who even got on the court at all. And so those main guys soaking up a lot of minutes. They're going to have to keep up the intensity here in the second half.
And
Quick
another
hands.
good defensive play.
Wesley pulls it.
With that rhythm. Oh, and you know
Almost
what?
Put that one down for a double-digit lead.
That was rattled in and out. He's feeling it now. He feels that rhythm.
Daniels.
Stay
Anderson,
compact on defense.
Campbell.
Oh.
And Ethan just got a bit of the hand on that, it looks like. That's going to be his 4th. And you look over, and as soon as they announced that one, you could just see Coach Sisson grimace. 11.5. There's a lot of game left to go. But the lineup has been playing really well right now. You kind of hope that you can just keep it together.
Yeah.
And open this one up a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Pace is going to come in. Coach Sisson thought about it while those free throws were being taken. So you know what? Austin was playing well earlier. Let's give him an opportunity to keep this one moving. Does that. Gets it over to Fig. Now Bosher working against Campbell up top. David for 3. Just a bit deep.
I think he liked that one, and, man, just it's a little bit heavy on it.
Alvarez now finds a bit of space, gets it to Howard. Comes back to Alvarez.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a slap as she was going through.
Barnes.
Definitely could hear it from over here at the
It's called
scores
for that.
table.
I don't know that he thought that was him, though. Looked surprised by the call when he heard the number come out, but we heard something somewhere. Anderson now taking a step out. And
Oh, a
that's a
late foul there.
whistle against
Yeah.
Austin. I was just going to shout out some good defense there. Saw the pass coming and worked his way around to get something on it.
Yeah.
We thought maybe to get everything on it. But we're going to see Darion Campbell go to the line for a chance to put it down to 4. And so this is certainly not over yet. Eagles got it out to 8. Certainly a lot of momentum that you like to see, but plenty of time left that the Eagles are going to have to keep executing
Yeah.
in order to leave the WAC tonight with a win.
They've got to hit some big shots down the stretch here and make sure they maintain that aggressiveness on defense.
And speaking of basketball cliches, sometimes you hear basketball, you know, someone will say about the NBA, oh, it's a make or miss league. And it's like, well, I mean, that is the point of of offense. But it really does come down to it.
Kind of
sometimes.
basketball, yeah.
Sometimes you just have to hit those shots. And it is going to stay with the Eagles here.
Yep.
Pinballing a little bit back and forth between Lance and his defender. It went off both of them, just depending on who it went off of last. And Wesley working his way through. Half-court pressure, but higher up. Braxton almost able to get that one to go down, but comes just out. It's 4. Let's see if it'll get any closer. And that one is going to be to Daniels, to the hoop. Gets it in over Pace, and it's a 1-possession game. Had been out at 8.
Oh.
And we're coming back for the tie unless they can get the block. And they are going to.
It looks like even Braxton realized that after he made it, and
Gotta go.
Well,
And Coach Sisson calling the timeout here. We've got 70, 68. It looks like the scores table calling them over. I think it's going to hit 70 apiece if that gets called on a goaltend. Couldn't quite see if it was a goaltend or a foul call. 10-13. So right at a quarter of this matchup left to play.
Yeah.
The lead has bounced around in the second half, and while in the first half it was bouncing around but staying with the Falcons, it's been bouncing around but staying with the Eagles. And yet, it is knotted up as we get into the final 10 minutes. We've got Carnes, Bosher, Fig, Edlet, Pace on the court right now. Eagles ball. The lead has been won. It's been lost. It's been won again. And now it's tied up with everything to play for.
Oh, and a bad pass right away. And again.
And Campbell driving hard.
Looked like he was in the zone there. Yeah, it looked like he was in the zone.
And that's going to be the third on Wesley. Stayed pretty clean in the first half. He's picked up 2 here in the last couple of minutes. Coach Sisson pumping him up as he walks back, picking up a couple words of the game plan heading into this one here.
Looks like Ethan Delaney's going to sub back in.
And that one's going to be shorted. Braxton gets it. Still tie ball. Chance to do something with it. Ethan went out at 11:30, and so he might be coming in something like 2 minutes later or so. Wesley buries it.
There is that three-point shot that we've been looking for from Wesley.
And so this is a tricky one. Both David Goey and Ethan Delaney at the scorer's table. Coach Sisson saying, you know what, I'm going to trust my players to make plays. They're just going to have to make the plays without getting fouls. Pace runs the floor, puts it in, and in just a couple of seconds after those timeouts, we're back to a 5-point margin. Anderson gets it. That one's short, but they're going to say in part with defense by Pace. That's on his third now. And so after the Eagles had been the less physical team in terms of getting whistled early on in this half, they're now at 9 against them on the half. Falcons at 6. More whistles going both directions here in the second. But the Eagles are going to have to be pretty careful, especially with what's been a tighter rotation overall.
Yeah. Now, if you're Ethan Delaney, do you continue to play the way that you are, or are you stepping back off of the aggression a little bit?
I think you have to take it down like 5%. You
5%. I love it. Yeah.
You can't change your game, right? Like you have to play. This is winning time. You've got to go in there and make the plays. But man, if someone's got 2 steps on you on a fast break, you know what? Maybe they just get that if they're a couple ahead. 1 step, up we go, and we pray we get the block. But you just got to pick your spots. Wesley driving over to Braxton, to Ethan, to the basket, and that's going to be good. 6-point margin for the Eagles.
That's
9 minutes
ball
left
movement.
to play. I think we're going to go over the 85-81 that you called as the offense has picked up here the last couple of minutes. But we'll see if that margin stays about the same. Alvarez just a bit short. Ethan pulls it down. Now out to Braxton, and we're away. Wesley, corner, 4-3.
He has found that rhythm. We need to keep feeding that.
And the resilience from the Eagles, whenever you go up by 8, and then you lose that lead, right? And Ethan slides in for it, but not quite able to get it there. Whenever you get the lead, lose the lead, it could be easy to get in your head. It could be easy to wonder, hey, did we blow our chance? Where are we going to go from here? But the mental toughness from your Eagles tonight has been good to see. But, man, this
Yeah,
one's not over
correct.
for sure. 8 minutes left. There's plenty of time to play here. Daniels trying to get the scoring started. Howard working against 4 fouls, Ethan. And Herndon back cuts in.
That's
Ethan
a
into
great pass
Braxton
there.
pretty quickly. It feels like the Eagles have been trying to get it in faster in the second half, not even really give the Falcons a chance to set up any kind of press.
Right. And there's those turnovers we talked about so often.
Short, Darion Campbell and David Goe both coming down with it. David working hard to get in there and is going to earn Eagles possession with that jump ball there. With media
All right, we got
timeout
a
under
media.
8 minutes, and any stoppage of play under 14, under 8 calls
Yes.
the 2 media timeouts. Really our contribution. We are the media, Nick. So
Yes.
we are the ones.
This timeout comes to you
Participating.
from Nick and David.
Yeah.
There we go. Definitely
Like, share, and subscribe. 7:52 left in this game.
hit that subscribe button, people.
Eagles up by 7. Chance to get the first win of the new year. Hey, it's the first game of the new year. But you know what? You may as well start it with a win.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? They've played aggressively tonight. They've played with a short memory tonight, which is great to be able to kind of get past some of the mistakes. Because let's be honest, they've had a lot of turnovers. So if they can get past that and think about the next play, the next defensive stop, and keep that momentum ruling, reigning, I think you'll walk away with a win tonight. I really do.
I've been impressed by the way they've been able to go both fast and slow.
Yes.
Right. Sometimes you have to hit the gas pedal, get up the court. We talked about them getting it in a little bit faster, making it harder for Cal Miramar to press.
Yeah.
But then you got to slow it down, right? Because 3 assists, 12 turnovers in the first half.
Right.
That's not the end of the world if, hey, some of your shots are unassisted, but you got to bring those numbers closer to each other. They've been trying to find solutions. They found some
Yeah.
of them in the first 12. Now can they finish them off in the last 8?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
And I've appreciated the distinction of different people scoring, not just the same individuals, but you're seeing a lot of different players on the team scoring buckets.
As a role player who was never the scoring focal point of my team, I love seeing that for sure. Wesley's been nailing a couple of threes from outside, but it's been a team effort for sure. Ethan getting it to his left that he likes to. Now Wesley up and in.
That soft touch.
Just a half beat behind in the kind of processing on that pass there. Wesley was right on it. Puts it out to 9, largest Eagles margin of the night, but 8 evaporated pretty fast earlier in the half. Braxton jumping that one, stays with the Falcons. It's great to see the Eagles' defensive intensity stay high because it could be easy to just drop it back. Hey, as long as we're not bleeding too many buckets, as long as we're not bleeding too many points against us, then, you know, is what it is. And sure, the Falcons are going to score some, but the Eagles have to maintain that intensity. They've seen it here so far. Braxton, Wesley, working against the taller Campbell. Can he get it? Yes, he can.
What a
Double-digit
touch.
lead. 7:05 left. Eagles by 11. And Daniels bringing it up as now the Falcons, certainly they're playing with plenty of intensity themselves. They're not on their heels in some kind of an emotional way, but on their heels a little bit just in the flow of the basketball game. Wesley clearing here, now to Ethan, goes in, gets it, gets the foul call. And this is some good aggressiveness by West Coast to this point. And Ethan to the line with a chance for more.
Yeah. And this is, again, where the game needs to be solidified in these free throw attempts. If he's able to make 2 here, you feel really good about the rest of the game. You've got 6 minutes, 42 seconds going up by just over 12 points.
In the first meeting of these two teams, Wesley scored 31. I think he's playing better tonight.
Yeah, I
think
agree.
that he's contributing more overall. Even on that possession there, getting it across the half-court line, 2 guys close enough that you make a sloppy dribble or something. Now you're in a tight double team in the corner, working it through, finding the right person. Big-time play there.
Yeah.
Ethan puts it out to 86. 73, outscoring your halftime call, but I don't think you mind too much, Nick.
No, not at all.
6.5 left, Eagles by 13. And that, with a whistle coming in, is going to do it for David Goway's night on his 5th foul as he starts walking back to the bench. He's been working hard. Maybe there's one jump shot we called out in the first half, but man, all of those have come because he's had to get up. He's had to grit through this game.
Yeah.
And cause havoc on the defensive end. He's played his role well, but now the Eagles are going to have to go on without him at this point here.
Yeah, they're going to have to match his aggression. Whoever comes in is going to have to match his aggression, and that's hard to do. But this Eagles team tonight looks like they have the mental capacity for that.
And Lance Figg coming into this game. Lance, really, I think we called this out earlier, his overall composure, right, is just kind of cool on the court, a little bit different kind of thing that he brings to the team, but that's what everyone does, right? Everyone has something to contribute. They're going to need some ball handling on the Eagles. They're going to need some of those offensive creation possessions to put the nail in the coffin. And Wesley pulling up, splashes
Oh, my
it.
goodness.
Well,
you know, this is the Wesley we thought we saw him be able to be accomplished through our games.
and that's going to be on 30, Lance Figg. That's his third. We've got 4 Falcons at the scorer's table. Their coach shown the willingness to really overhaul his lineup. Alvarez at the line now, just came in just about a minute ago.
Right.
So he might be the one to stay.
Yeah.
It looks like he will be. Everyone else getting changed out for the moment. And I could be wrong, but I believe that this is going to be the first time we're seeing Mekhi Jackson, Adrian Agers in the game. And so number 12, Chris Torina. And so Coach Shade looking for some fresh legs, looking for maybe a bit different answers than what we've seen so far. Figg takes it in, gets tied up by Chandler Sanders. And that's going to be a jump ball coming back to the Falcons. Eagles up 14, 89-75, with 5:55 left in this one.
Yeah, it seems like Lance is maybe holding that ball too far in front of him. If he just kept that a little bit off to the side, it seems like he would find a foul there rather than a jump ball.
Good bucket by Alvarez, and really the Eagles defense almost has to center on stopping him, especially with some of these guys coming in who haven't played so far for the Falcons tonight. They're coming in a little bit cold. Maybe you dare them to shoot, see if they can do it. But you've got to stop Alvarez if you're going to see this one out. Torina, too many steps, pushes it into Adlet on defense. Eagles up 11. Coach Sisson calling the timeout. 5:22.
Yeah, it feels like Coach is trying to rally the team. We have a little bit of a dead spot right now where we're up by about 15 points. And they've crawled back now. It's about an 11-point of a lead for us, and there hasn't been a bucket in a minute or two. And so we need to get that energy flowing back again. It seems like Coach maybe even just calling the full timeout to give his guys a rest, who have predominantly been playing the whole game. So we'll see if they can come out of this and get either 3 or 2 to stretch that lead a little bit more.
And what you just can't do is be sloppy with your possessions. Right?
Correct,
There's
yeah.
going to be sometimes you go down the court and miss, the Falcons come back and make it. Is what it is. They're a good team. They've played hard. They've got players who can execute. Sometimes that's going to happen.
Right.
But what you can't do is give up a fast break and then have a 5-second violation and then give up an open 3 and things
Right.
like that. You have to keep playing this out, finding open shots, finding good shots. You don't want to burn the shot clock just for the sake of it. You're not at that point of the game left.
Right.
But hey, be meticulous, be methodical, find answers that don't have to just be the first flashy pass that pops across your face.
Yeah, it's a turnover assist ratio again, and I feel like I don't have the stats in front of me, but if you were to look at the assists that we have in this second half, it'd be much higher than there were in the first half.
And some of that's going to come down to just hitting shots from outside, right? We were 3 of 14 from distance in the first half. We're up above that in the second. So we're naturally going to create some assists from that. But it's felt like there's been a composure, there's been a plan to the ball movement that has helped play into that as well. Eagles trying to see this one out as Ethan is at half court now, working against number 23, Adrian Adgers. Just came into the game, looks a little bit jumpy. That's not a diss against him. And Bosher does earn the trip to the line after a push there. Adgers a little bit on his toes. We'll see if Ethan can play off of that here. And Bosher going to the line. It's 11. Can he push it out to 13? He gets the first. It's a dozen. Let's see if they can make it a baker's dozen as we pull out our medieval baking guild inspired
10 points for saying baker's dozen in a game.
You know, you just got to do it, right? It's
Absolutely.
13. What are you going to call it? The smallest teen number? There's nothing with that. Let's see if we can keep it at 13, though, instead of it getting any closer. Adgers to Sanders. Goes up
good
strong.
Defense. Good defense.
Not
And a
able to
great
get it to go
rebound.
down. Fig now getting it against Tarina. Working around. Works his way out of the double by himself. Carnes was coming back to give him some options. Adlet puts it down. 93-78. 15-pointer. 4.5 to go. And the Falcons a little bit on their heels. Alvarez not able to hit from distance. And Sanders gets called for that one there. And that's tough, right? If you are down, right? You're down by 15 points, largest of the game. You got to get points fast.
Yeah,
so there's that
yeah.
temptation. Hey, I've got the space. Do I just pull up for 3 and let it go? But it's a tough way to live. And so the Eagles getting themselves in a position where they don't have to live there yet. But let's see if they can carry it through. Ethan splashes it. And you called this out earlier. We've been a lot more comfortable with the free throws here in this game than some others we've played. I jinxed it. We missed it probably because of that. But all in all, I'll still take the percentages, right? Herndon into Sanders. Works his way through. Misses it from down in there. And Fig immediately getting into David's ear. And just kind of pumping him up. Hey, it was a good defensive play. He did well with it. And Sanders going to the line. Chance to cut it from 16 on down.
Yeah, that's been kind of all night with the free throws. It feels like we've kind of reversed roles there, where we've been able to hit ours at a higher percentage. And
Ethan and Braxton down on the block, in and out. That one hurts. It's probably not close enough that that'll really end up costing them when it's all said and done. But that one was halfway down, like a couple of our shots have been tonight.
Braxton got away with one there.
It looked like he was looking for Ethan. Ethan had a nice pick and then kind of rolled, but the defense came down on him. Braxton got it just enough over to get to Lance Alvarez. Ethan knew, hey, I've got 4 fouls. We've already got David on the bench. Let's go.
See, this is the game that they can't make. We can't make silly turnovers. Throwing the ball away.
Almost OBJ'd that
lead.
one there.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to bring up another NFC East player to diehard Eagles fan in more ways than one, Nick Paravicenti. But
that was a travel.
And getting up, causing a deflection. Ethan's been very stationary the last couple. Getting up, contesting with his arms, but not putting himself in a position where they could call anything against him. Good pass to Lance. Can David put this one down? And almost
they
gets
needed
a
that.
12-point
They needed
game,
that.
just over 3.
Yeah.
Daniels, Anderson, and the corner of the backboard, and Richard McMichael is going to get that one. It's a 10-point game.
Yeah.
They've been at 16. Now it's at 10. You've got 6 guys who have essentially been in the rotation today, still eligible, right? David played hard, fouled out.
Right.
You're probably at your 6.
Yeah.
I doubt Coach System probably bringing in someone for the first time tonight, unless it's just to get an extra body on defense maybe
Sure.
the last minute.
Yeah.
So you're looking for answers from those 6 guys, right?
Yeah,
From Ethan Braxton, Wesley Lance, Edlet, and Pace.
Yeah, they've got to come out of this timeout, whether it's a just simple bucket for 2 or a nice 3-point shot, not a hurried one, not a rushed one. Using that shot clock to your advantage, because 10 points can go by real fast if they're not careful.
And the Falcons only guaranteed 3 possessions, right? You'd have 7 left in any game between 3 and 3.5.
Right.
But obviously they're not going to be taking the full shot clock on theirs. You're going to have to dig in. You're going to have to get some stops. You're going to have to find some buckets. Because if you can do that for like 60 more seconds of game time, the fouls are working for you. You're going to go to the line for 2 for any on-the-floor foul. If you can get a couple more whistles to go your way, but you have to set that up and stacking some positive possessions.
And Coach made a good point over here in the last possession. One of the Falcons players definitely took the ball right over one of the Eagles players. It was a carry. You know, you just kind of you see those things come and go, and sometimes you get that call and sometimes you don't.
You've got to keep moving forward with it now, right? Cal Miramar been bringing some pressure all game, but bringing a lot more here now than they have to this point. Wesley able to work that out to Braxton. Braxton not seeing David down low. The positive
there it
is that we're keeping some extra seconds coming off the clock. With all of those kind of arms flashing in front of him, Edlet made a really nice backdoor cut, found himself in a lot of space down low. Braxton just not able to see him, but we're still getting to a chance for points this possession.
And one of the things that the Eagles have to avoid on those inbound passes is getting into one of these corners again, as they've done in the last couple possessions. Yep. Again, this is a night and day of what we saw in the first matchup, where you saw us miss a lot of these free throws down the stretch, and now you're seeing a lot of them hit. Hopefully I don't jinx it.
Last time I said something, they missed it afterwards. But the Lord is
Look,
with you
automatic.
more than he's with me.
Automatic.
Either that or Lance.
Automatic, brother.
And 12 points, under 3 minutes. 1 or 2 stops might do it, but you've got to dig in and get those. Wesley gets it after it comes off of McMichael's shin.
Good job of Wesley to pull that off. Take up as much time as possible.
And a good awareness by the Eagles. Braxton was the closest guy, but you could see him point, hey, Lance is coming open. You need to get that out to him. Good job by Wesley being aware of it. Daniels, Anderson, and opens up some space. And defending 5-on-4 here for a second.
I don't think that's going to be on Ethan, but that was the other shot. Should have been an offensive foul, whether
Ethan
that's an elbow or.
And immediately started holding his side. It's 2:14 left. The margin is 12. I mean, at this point, like one stop or one bucket might do it, barring a barrage from 3.
Yeah.
But you have to actually finish that game off.
Yeah. You have to finish it off, and you can't have turnovers. Turnovers will kill. So if they can play a turnover-free game and get 1 or 2 more buckets, I think we'll see a victory tonight.
McMichael to the line, 11 points, can bring it to 10 here. And splashes that. So it's a chance for the Eagles to set up their inbounds and for the Falcons to set up their press. Fig now working through, gets it across. Ethan accelerating. Watching his back. A nice cross-court pass to Braxton. Out to David. Works around. And the Eagles committed to taking some time out of this possession here. Forcing the pressure to stay high. But the danger is you might not come away with anything. McMichael on the run. And that one's just going to be up and over. Fig gets it. That might finish it. And Howard just kind of, nothing too significant there in the contact, but just kind of riding him from behind.
Right.
And is going to get rung up for that. 10 points, 96 seconds left. Eagles shooting. We might get this one out of here if they can finish it off.
Making those free throws down the stretch, making sure that we complete this game out.
Bosher, pretty consistent from the line.
He's had a nice soft touch tonight. Yep.
These the the biggest of the season or anything like that, but a big chance to put in a win.
Yeah, correct.
There's some pressure on these. Splashes the first. Let's see if he can get the second.
And Howard was smart in getting that foul pretty early on in that offensive possession.
Yeah, give him the time to be able to work it back. Splashes both into Daniels. And let's see what we have to deal with here. Daniels moves quickly, gets it in. Lance gets it in quickly to Wesley, sets it up to Ethan. And now Lance working his way through. And they've found some space there in that corner. Braxton, Lance, 3.
And that's probably going to do it. That's probably going to do it.
Crossing the century mark with just over a minute left.
That's a travel.
Daniels works around, gets another one there. He's scored on their last 2 trips down the court. Braxton just up and over to Ethan nicely. And the Falcons a little unsure on if they were going to go for the foul there. Coach calling one more in. Daniels has hit the last couple of shots. See if he can go nuclear in the last 50.8. It's Eagles 101, Falcons 90.
Again, nuclear. Great addition to this
It's only 3 syllables, Nick.
Yeah,
it's not even as much as your last name.
All right, well, that's true.
But I did have to count how many were in your last name right there.
There you
Ethan
go.
is the first. It's out to 12.
Not all of us can be Adams.
Yeah. I've got a pretty boring name. But there's nothing boring about what's going on the court right now. Eagles up by 13. Lance trying to stay in front of, and that one is from distance. And McMichael not able to put it in from deep outside. 41.6. And this might do it.
This was a mega win, if all holds true, in the last 41 seconds for the Eagles. So it felt like from about 5 minutes into the first half on, they really played their top game on defense and offense. And they were able to convert on free throws. That one almost rang out, but they're able to convert on free throws. And I got to tell you, I can only remember maybe 3 misses all night, which is pretty spectacular.
Braxton hits both. And sometimes you just need those wins. A lot of times our teams will start with a lower record because you're playing, maybe more out-of-conference games early in the season, something like that. It's going to vary a little bit, the level of teams that you're playing. Braxton up to Wesley, to Lance. This will just about do it here. But at some point, you've also got to be able to go and get those wins. And the Eagles came out on a mission tonight.
Yeah.
Ate that 7-0 deficit to start the game.
Yeah.
But didn't flinch.
Correct.
And with 24.2 here, a 13-point margin, just as long as you can get some heady play out of this.
And you don't feel like there was, of course, there was a lot of turnovers like the one you just witnessed. However, you didn't feel like there was someone that just kind of wasn't playing well or was kind of out of it. Everyone really played their best game tonight, and it really showed out in the scoreboard. Lance Fig was an incredible addition to the starting lineup tonight. you felt like he just came in and produced and produced and produced, even completing that 3-point shot at the end there.
And Braxton dribbling this one out. Falcons bringing a little bit of light pressure, but not going to get the foul. And the bench is standing up. The fans are on their feet. A great way to start 2024. The Eagles with the 105-94 victory over the visiting Cal Miramar Fighting Falcons. And the Falcons fought hard. They lived up to the name. They played a good game.
They did.
And
they played
had
well.
A great time here tonight together for sure. But, man, it's an even better time when you can see the Eagles come out on top of a matchup like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially one that they lost earlier in the season. To be able to come back and get that win, and to get it pretty convincingly, it's got to be satisfying not just for coach, but for the players as well.
And being able to avenge an earlier loss, being able to start the year with a win, those are the kinds of things that, you know what, one game, you got to keep it in perspective in the length of a season, but one game can be a difference maker as well.
Yeah.
And you really liked what you saw tonight. Coach just trusting his guys that they were going to get it done. They didn't have as many subs as sometimes. They didn't, have one player put up 40 points or anything like that.
Yeah.
But just a really good composed performance. Certainly good work by the Falcons as well. But, man, Eagles fans, it's an Eagles broadcast. We're happy to see our guys pull out the win here. We'll bring you some end-of-game stats here in just a second. But it's been a privilege to be able to share this game with you tonight. Again, for those of our fans around the country, especially on the East Coast or wherever you might be, if you're giving up a little bit of sleep tonight in order to watch this one, then we sure appreciate it. From the Falcons side, Julian Alvarez leading the way with 24. Dejon Daniels with 16. Waylon Anderson with 14. Alex Herndon with 11 points, 8 rebounds. For your West Coast Baptist College Eagles, Wesley Carnes almost matched his first game against Cal Miramar, put up 30 on him, 12 for 21, 6 of 12 from outside, 5 of 8 from outside in the second half. Big performance there. Braxton Bosher with 28, 14 of 15 from the line. Put the hammer down when he needed to there. 8 boards, 5 assists, 3 steals. Just really stuffing the stat sheet there for the Eagles. Ethan Delaney, 6 of 9 from the field, 6 of 8 from the line, 6 boards, 18 points, a block and a steal, chipping in on that end as well. David Goe, 3 blocks. Lance Figg, 4 of 6 from the field, 6 of 7 from the line, 15 points.
15.
Just a composed performance, exactly what you want to see from someone.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I might have missed one along the way, but I believe in at least one of his very first starts for the Eagles. Big-time performance there.
Yeah.
David with 8, Austin with 2. Every Eagle who played putting it into the hoop at least once. Every Eagle who played, bar one, getting a rebound. Everyone chipping in with either a block or a steal. Lance with 6 steals, Wesley with 5. And so just some good defensive pressure there. 7 steals in the first half, 11 in the second. And cranking up that kind of pressure, really helpful. Second half, we called him out on it at halftime, but in the second half alone, 10 assists, 6 turnovers. Not only closed the margin, but flipped it entirely in the second half.
They completely turned it around, and you can see that the scoreboard reflected that turnaround. And even as we were announcing there, around 6 minutes, I think I remarked that it just felt like there were more assists on this half than there were in the first half. They were moving the ball well. They were taking decent shots and really putting up some good scores.
All 5 of Braxton's assists coming in the second half. 3 out of Lance's 4 coming in the second half. 19 of 21 from the line in the second half. When they needed to get those buckets, they were able to do that. They were able to finish. And so a great win for the Eagles tonight. We appreciate any Cal Miramar fans who joined us. We appreciate
thank you
your
so
team
much.
and how hard they played. To all the Eagles fans around the country, it's been our privilege to share a bit of the evening with you. Go get some sleep or stay up and watch reruns of old games or something like that. Whatever floats your boat. It's been a lot of fun to join you. For Nick Perry